Why did I bring the vape? I should have brought the vape.
Woohoo! There we are. There we are. There we are. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back with you guys because we are on our final episode for season
I get to be on
two.
the final episode.
Yes, not only did you open the season, but you're also closing the season. So it's
I love
very
you
exciting.
too.
Yes,
Just
yes.
lovely humans.
It's
Yes, that's why it was so
amazing.
important that we have you here today. It's like we were working
Yes.
out.
So, to our listeners, we are also doing our very first live stream to YouTube. So, if you want to see us, and you can come check us out on YouTube and follow us there on Date Smarter. Yeah, so this is kind of fun being visual and
Yeah.
it being our final episode for the season and coming full circle, having Erica back again. She opened our season, she's closing our season. And if you missed the first episode from this season, you must listen to it. It was amazing. In fact, I just had a conversation with a client about it today where we were talking about sex addiction. We're not even go there because you can go and listen to it on episode, I know that face, that episode 1. But today, oh my God, I'm so excited. So I apologize for my excitement because this is a topic that's been coming up in my social media videos that people have been mentioning, and it's been coming up with clients lately. It's something that some of my new breakup clients are coming in with questions about and concerns. And it made me realize that we need to fucking talk about this. I hope I can swear.
We
on
need
YouTube.
to fucking talk about this.
Fucking.
Not just talk about this, but fucking talk
You
about
should
this.
swear on YouTube.
I think
You can,
oh my
right?
God. Come on. It's
Hey, you never
don't
know.
know.
Like
No.
TikTok will take shit down. Like you never know.
Right.
You never
I mean,
know.
well, it's YouTube.
Yeah, who
I think we're okay.
I mean,
So today we are talking about whether or not porn is cheating. And for some of you, you might be shaking your head going, that's a stupid conversation. Of course not. But I guarantee you, to the men out there where women are breaking up with them because they are accusing them of cheating because they watched porn, it is not a stupid conversation. It is a very real conversation to these guys. To be fair, I haven't heard of any women being broken up with for watching porn from their boyfriends or husbands.
Or gay men.
We will talk about that. We can talk about that. We
yes.
can talk about that because guess what? As a sex and mental health therapist, I have.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just super excited about this topic. I've been waiting for this conversation for months, and here we are. So let's dive in. Let's not waste another second.
So what's the average? I am curious. Like, what is the average question of like the man? Because I know Andrew, you specialize in working specifically with men. Like, what is that? What is that guy coming in? What is he saying to you? And what is that kind of scenario that that they paint for you?
Yeah. So here's one example. So my client came in and he really wanted to get his girlfriend back. She broke up with him because. And I'm going to assume it's a safe assumption. There's a lot of other things at play here, right? Obviously, it's not just the porn, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back was, she went through his phone. This is the best part. She went through his phone without him knowing and found it.
I hear my heavy sigh.
Terrible move.
Found the porn.
We're starting off not so great.
Shame on her. She found it on his phone and did the very stereotypical cliche move of, what the hell is this? You're watching porn. I feel like you're cheating on me because you are. When he asked for clarification, she told him that he is pleasuring himself by looking at someone else, and to her, that's cheating.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I must say, for this whole season of sex, I have learned that there are certain things that heterosexuals deal with that
The
are like
straights.
not even like
Yes.
I've gone to some gay men's homes where they have naked men in their bathroom so everyone can see it. So it's like we're both jerking off to this picture. So it's so interesting to
Yes.
learn that there are women that really feel that the guy is cheating. Huh.
So, and we're going to talk about like this, you are not, Kanan, you're not wrong. Like this dynamic is pretty specific to like cis heterosexual couples. A bisexual woman here, like I am in a heterosexual marriage, but it's still like the amount of work that we've done in our own relationship has essentially birthed a relationship that has the context to allow sexual material of any kind. And if any time in our marriage, like it ain't today because I take care of a lot of human emotions, I can't have an open marriage. I'm a therapist. It's too exhausting for me. I just can't. I support open relationships and I support the people in them as a therapist, but personally I'm tired and I gotta go to bed. But you're onto something as far as context in dynamics of relationships and openness of sexual experiences. And there's lots of theories about why this tends to happen in heterosexual couples relationships more often than any like queer couples or poly couples but let me tell you, like the conversation around sexual material and the dynamics around sexual material, the conversation can be fraught in queer relationships too, especially if there was something that wasn't discussed, like a cam person that you're frequenting, or if a massage then turned into a happy ending massage and that wasn't negotiated with partners or partners ahead of time. So this dynamic has roots before the porn, before the conversation and sneaking around on the phone. The reason you were getting crazy face from me about that is that relationship started without trust. It started with this dynamic that more than likely both people were absolutely unaware of. Or maybe some scenarios that could very well be possible for this case that you're talking about is that maybe she's dealt with partners who have been unfaithful before, and that is how at least she experienced them starting. But that
so
doesn't
is the
mean
cheating
that porn's
a symptom?
the problem.
So would you consider the porn or the person feeling that way a symptom of a much deeper issue, which might be just trust in the relationship, period?
Trust, and almost always either from a prior relationship and or a family relationship, and watching family members handle dynamics like these terribly or with no knowledge.
Triggering.
Absolutely.
So the porn is just triggering her mistrust, because my understanding is that she has been in relationships previous to my client where she's been cheated on. And while they didn't really dive into the porn aspect of it, but now that does make sense that maybe that was kind of the beginning point, or in her head, she's correlating them together for some reason. And so she's assuming, oh, you're going to cheat, you're watching porn.
We're not as evolved as we'd like to think we are. And
That's such a
Which is a shame.
If something even breathes in the general direction of something we're afraid of, the brain goes, bitch, that's a cheetah. I can't with that. So I do think it's important to understand. I think we did talk about this in the first episode, that people's issues around infidelity and porn and sex are grand revealers of whatever shit is happening inside of you, whether it's old or new within the last few years. Those things will just come to the forefront. Anytime somebody walks in to my online office and out the gate, we're talking about sexual issues, we're going to get to the bottom of the issues really, really fast, because it's where sex just sex and sexual material and how we feel about our bodies and the control we think we have or don't just really brings everything we're scared of to the forefront.
Would
So
you say that a lot of, go ahead, Andrea.
No, I have a feeling we're going on the same wavelength here. Because like if someone comes to you with a situation like this and says, like, his big question to me was, I didn't know porn was cheating. And I was like, well, I don't think it is personally, but that's not my expertise. That's the reason why we're here with you today.
Yeah.
Is porn cheating? How do we define? I guess we have to first define cheating, don't we?
I feel like we started this in that first conversation we all had together, that we absolutely culturally do not have a definition for infidelity. We don't. When somebody says infidelity, they assume something in their mind, but that doesn't mean that the other person you are either trying to partner with, your friend, your coworker, sees infidelity the same.
Yeah.
And it depends on the community. Kane, you nailed it already. The community matters too. What matters and what is cheating in one community is not the same as another community, or how someone maybe feels about cheating. Like I'm sure both of you have heard the idea of emotional cheating. What does that even mean? What does it mean to I
know what that means. I think it means, like, I've seen relationships where someone is with a partner that is very stoic. They don't really share their feelings, and they're not very receptive of someone sharing their feelings. So then that partner feels like, I don't feel affection, I don't feel love. So then they start to seek that in someone else. It may not be sexual, but then they start to seek something like a hug, or someone just to look at them and listen to them and say, yes, you're right. Yes, I'm listening to you. I mean, there are hug groups where people pay just to hug someone because either they're single or they're in a relationship where they're just missing out on that affection.
So I'm going to push a button. How is that cheating when every single one of us craves intimacy and community connection? Our partners are not supposed to be our be all end all. So why would it be emotional cheating if you are connecting with a person emotionally, whether friendship or what have you?
I think we've been conditioned to think that one person... I think we've been conditioned to think that one person is supposed to give us all of this, all of our movies, all of our literature, and people. Disney has fucked us up. Yes, I go there almost like every week. Yes,
we talk about it all the time.
But we have been conditioned to think that one person is supposed to sexually satisfy us, emotionally satisfy us, be our stability, be our foundation, be our support, be our all.
You know? I think for women, though, it's a little bit different, because from a woman's point of view, and I'm not trying to speak for all women, obviously, but when our boyfriend or husband or male partner connects emotionally with another woman, we know, or we have this, we feel like we know that means it's going to lead to sex, because it's so hard to get him to connect with us emotionally. We've put in so much time, effort, and work to get him to connect with us emotionally, that if he's giving that to someone else, then we know it's just a matter of time that he is going to have a sexual relationship and eventually leave us, because now I'm not providing anything for him anymore.
I feel like I need to say something about everything you just said.
It just feels like old, like toxic dynamics that is patriarchy.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I feel like those kind of connections should not have to be forced. Like I've noticed with men, if they feel comfortable with you, they will naturally open up and be warm with you. If they're not comfortable, they're not going to, no matter what you do, no matter what sexy outfit you put on, if you have not established that rapport or that comfort level, it's not going to happen. Either he may just see you as a nice piece of ass, maybe he just sees you as a great partner that he could, I don't know, wow, she cooks me great dinners and takes care of me every day. This is wonderful, but I don't want to fuck her, you know? It's like so many factors involved, but I think something like that happens naturally. If it's not happening in a relationship, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, to be quite honest with you.
I honestly do see this a lot in and we're going to kind of talk about this in from like the roles that often take place, especially in kind of cis heteronormative, not yes, that dynamic specifically does often lead to a parent-child dynamic.
Yeah.
Where many women will end up being the emotional caretaker for their partner.
I see
And
that a lot.
then when that role is not whether whatever's happening with their partner, they, like you said, Andrea, I think you're onto something that then what use am I? So the relationship started for both people on really, really shaky ground. It didn't start with openness. It didn't start with putting the values and actual needs you have on the table to really, truly make a decision about whether or not you are compatible to be together. And it is really, really hard, let me be very, very clear, for women to lay down their boundaries and hold them and continue to hold them, especially when there are people who are railing against them and not at all respecting them. So
for sure, I 100% agree.
It is fraught, and but the reality is it's a setup to be fraught. The power,
a setup, how
it's a power struggle, essentially. Like, it is set up for us to fail. So a woman is supposed to remain pure, to not sleep with too many people, to be classy yet ready to go. And then men on the other side, often, I love Kanan. Kanan's ready.
I know. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say.
He's ready.
Men on the other side.
Men on the other side are often set up in another way, that they're supposed to be ready to go and game for sex at any point and have giant penises and provide everything. And like this, it's a setup. These are stereotypical cultural expectations that we have been breaking, especially over the last 15 to 20 years. We've been trying to break them, and we're, especially with online dating, social media, and podcasting and YouTube, and we're all railing against this setup that we all hate.
That makes sense.
You made me think of this guy that I saw online recently who said the most ridiculous, his name, he was on Twitter. His name,
any views?
No, actually, no, I don't want to say his name. Okay. But he is a bishop or some shit like that. And basically what he's saying is, listen to some of this.
I'm going to need an app. I know it.
That's where men automatically coming at it. And here's the thing. Just like when you were between the ages of 18 and 25 and you didn't want to settle, you were trying to get the CEO, the pilot, the investment banker, you were trying to get flued out. Here's what's going to happen. If you are a woman 35 plus and you want a man that's on the same lifestyle level, you're going to have to share. All right, what do you think about sharing a man? Come on now, don't go quiet.
Okay, I must stop for now.
Did he just say sharing a man?
Sharing a man, basically.
Share him.
Yes, he is saying that if you're a woman over the age of 35 years old, you need to settle for sharing a man. Mind you, this man is 56 years old, single, married, and divorced twice. And he is suggesting to single women over the age of 35 that, you know, but then when this female says, oh, okay, I agree with that. So I share you, and then, you know, I could be with other guys too. He says, no, that's not how that works, young lady. You are supposed to be, yes, he said young lady to her. Ooh. You are supposed to be at the mercy and the backing. Yeah. And a lot of men think this way. That's the freaky part. A lot of men over the age of 40 all the way to like 65, 70-ish, they have this audacity where it almost seems as if they feel like they have ownership over, and this is across all races. This is not just white, Black, Asian, or mostly an American thing, I will say. I don't know how other races,
power.
Power.
I love Isabel Wilkerson, by the way, Pulitzer Prize winning author of Caste, who talks about how essentially trying to shift the conversation from race to understanding that this is a power struggle and this is a class struggle. And I think you're onto something here. I think that this is the idea, and I know people have seen it on YouTube, the idea of dating resources has come out a lot, where people
Isn't
are saying,
what I am?
I am a high, well, no, like I'm a high value woman, or I'm a high value man.
You're going to hate my book.
Like,
no,
like
I'm not going to hate it. I just think it comes down to a power struggle. I don't think it's necessarily, you're offering people skills that will work regardless of where you are status wise. But like the idea, like what that bishop just tried to sell everybody.
Oh my God.
That heterosexual men should have the pick of whomever they'd like. And then women have got to stay home and put up with it.
And the men get more than one option.
And how? And guess what? The birth rate's in the toilet, asshole. Like, we're trying to get people to have more children. That ain't how you do it.
Yeah.
It sounds like his really terribly cheap and awfully manipulative way to
y'all.
Well, not even just clicks, but like clicks. Like he's trying to get in. He's sliding into more than DMs with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, I think you should always, advice from men like that is so sketchy, because I feel like he's the kind of guy that would consume porn and cheat on his wife nonstop. And she's just supposed to be like, oh, okay, honey. I don't know how many of you listening have ever, or watching, have seen the movie Baby Boy. This is a Black cultural thing.
Yes.
You probably have seen it. Okay, with Tyrese. And there was a part of the movie where
Tyrese, he went sideways on us a little bit.
But there's a part of the movie where his the person playing his girlfriend or wife, Taraji P. Henson, came to him and was like, you're cheating on me. Why do you keep cheating on me? I'm paraphrasing, by the way. And Tyrese, his character, then says to her, I'm just fucking them, but I'm coming home to you. There's a difference.
I've heard this before. Yes.
And I think porn is kind of the same way for some men. They don't see it as cheating. It's, yeah, I'm beating off to Jenna Jameson or whoever, but at the end of the night, I'm fucking you. So what's the big deal?
The reality, though, is that there's still no conversation or agreement to any of that ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah, this is usually after somebody has agreed to get married, right? Or they've been dating for a while, and then this comes to the forefront. And then then she never got a choice. She never got a choice to say, "Oh, okay," or "No, thank you." There was never any consent to this conversation, this power struggle, this behavior. And that fundamentally is a problem. And ultimately, what you just described, that dynamic, that tells me, I want him to come to therapy. Come to therapy. And it absolutely needs to be a challenge of how do you find intimacy with humans? Not just romantic partners, friendships, co-workers. How do you find intimacy? And if you're not willing to be in intimate relationships with people, that tells me that there is something that has happened in your life that has enabled you from being able to connect with people, because you can't trust.
Oh my God, I'm shook right now.
What if the same scenario happens, but she tells him in the beginning of the relationship that she doesn't agree with watching porn. She doesn't want to be with somebody who watches porn.
Then they both have consent, right? Like he can then say, like, okay, then this is not going to be a partnership that's good for me, because porn is a part of my masturbation routine. And you do need to have this conversation out the gate. This is a conversation about sexual consent. This isn't about yes or no, you can put your dick in me. It's about being able to say, hey, like, I enjoy sexual content. Do you enjoy sexual content? Is there a way we can enjoy sexual content together from time to time? How do you feel about masturbation? How often do you masturbate? That's like one of the opening questions I ask people in therapy. Yo,
right.
How often are you
How
masturbating?
soon should you share all of your sexual quirks with someone? I mean, like the first night that you're having. Well, okay.
Well, this conversation.
Let's put it that way. Your habits, like you watch porn or I watch porn. When should I tell my partner I watch porn? The first date, the second date, after we have sex for the first time? Should I just... like what? Like what?
That's too late.
I do really think like some of those first conversations, like it could be within like I hate the dating apps. Andrea already knows, and Andrea already knows how I feel about the dating apps, and I get exhausted when my clients bring them up, and I'm like, go see my friend Andrea because I can't. I'm like, go join a damn sports league. Go to an art club. Get off these algorithms that are going to show you people that are your red flags, and no matter how much therapy you do, it doesn't matter. They will keep showing you your red flags.
Right. Yes. We talked about that before. They figured
that out, by the way. The algorithm knows.
Well, it keeps showing you more of what you go after, and if you keep going after red flags, then that's all you're going to keep getting.
What did Facebook like literally profit on?
Yeah.
Facebook profited on showing people things that made them angry. And now families can't have conversations, and families have ended relationships. And I can't tell you how many times I'm navigating this with people in therapy. Like, I can't talk to my dad anymore. I can't talk to my favorite uncle who I grew up with because they started talking about the gremlin president from before. This
kind of like a gremlin after they got wet.
So wait. Before we get too off topic here.
Gizmo was cute. The later gremlins at 8 after midnight were not cute.
So would you say having this conversation, like obviously you don't want to have the conversation on the first date or a second date. It's too soon to be talking about sex unless you're having sex, which you shouldn't be. But like within the first 5 dates before you have sex.
Hold on. Like, is that true per community?
No, I gave my husband a blowjob on the first date.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about male-female relationships.
Okay, we're talking about
heterosexual. We're
talking cis-het. Okay, let's be specific because I was gonna say that would not fly with my gay clients. That wouldn't fly with my.
No, like I need to see the D right away.
Yeah, and my lesbian clients are, I love them, and they're gonna find a U-Haul early.
Yes, they're like they're buying a house by the end of the first date. It's like, let's get a nice little cottage up on that little hill that we walk past every day. Like, oh yeah, sure. I do too. They're so heartwarming.
And they keep us all together. Let's be real.
Yeah, they do.
But in the cis heterosexual dynamic, because I think the power dynamic can be so fraught for them. I actually do wonder if it would make sense to have those conversations early. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily you're going to agree to sex up front. But that conversation I think is important. Like, hey, what are you after? Okay, if you're after a hookup, I'm not really game for that. But if I was, I'd really want to be listening to some erotica in my ears while we all go have a good time. Or I really am not comfortable with my partner like watching porn. Do you watch porn? And I'm not here to argue that porn's for everybody.
It's not.
But here, the reality is, though, I also wonder how much
people use it.
How much have they actually found of any sexual material that might actually work for them? And I'll send you, Andrea, and Kanan, I'll send you my list. I've been curating a list of essentially. This is going to sound like the hipsterest shit I've said in a long time. Of ethically sourced sexual material. So I
Ooh.
know that the actors are paid. I know
Mhm.
that there is queer options. I know
Uh-huh.
that you're going to see lots of bodies and lots of colors of bodies.
Of course.
I
Mm,
know you're going to
I
Oh
get lots
love
of
yeah.
variety of
variations.
type too. So it's not
Mhm.
necessarily just all
Mhm.
visual video. There's audio. There's reading erotica. I have lists of websites for. So I'll send you
Yeah.
that list because I'm a nerd.
Hell yeah.
I collect that shit all the time. I'm like, that's
How
I
old
love
were
that.
you when you first saw your first like piece of adult or
Hmm.
pornographic or I mean
So
I don't consider art pornography. Some people
I agree.
do and they're like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
saw, Michael's or whatever it's called."
It's like, no,
And
that's
like
just a body. Come on.
that's a
Yeah.
body. That's totally different. But like actual sexual content, what was the first age you would
I
say?
think I really think this does depend on like when you came to the internet, especially now. But for me, I was in high school when
Mm.
I was at a friend's house. Not gonna mention names because I don't want to put them on blast. Because the struggle here is that the parents knew where these were. Like these, so there was a stack of Playboy Hustler out in the open, just on like a fireplace
Wow,
mantle,
dad sounds like fun.
like just like a stack, just chilling in the living room on the fireplace mantle.
Mm.
And I remember, so I grew up in a evangelical household. I am not that anymore. But if my parents knew that that was just out, yeah, I was
Whoa.
not going to be allowed
They
to
would
go
have
over there.
flipped the fuck out. Yeah.
But I definitely went and looked at them with my friends.
What
Yeah.
about you, Andrea?
I was going to ask you the same thing. I actually think I was fairly young. I want to
Mhm.
say like maybe 10, but
Mhm.
my brother is 8 years older than me, to be
Ah.
fair.
Mhm.
And my mother at the time was working at Planned Parenthood in the education department. And
Mhm.
so I might have actually been younger because she might have
Mhm.
actually sat me down with a hustler to show me
Yeah.
what
Oh.
I was looking at, because having the conversation around sex and body parts was
Mhm.
something that was built into dinner time for us.
Yes.
That's cool. For
And
Yeah.
me,
that exposure is important.
it
Mhm.
is important. You know what? Recently, I have two stories I'm going to share with you. On the last that you just said, when I was cleaning up my dad's house after he died, I
Mhm.
came across his little closet, and in this little closet was like his gun, his jewelry, blah blah blah, and porn, like self-made porn. And it was the very first time I saw my dad's penis ever in my life. Isn't that
Self-made porn.
yeah,
Oh.
but wait, I think it's important for young kids, male or female. This is not a sexual thing. It's very
Mhm.
important for them to see their parents' anatomy
Yeah.
so they can become more comfortable with their bodies and
Mhm.
not have as much shame. Because I've never saw my dad body, and when he would be naked around me, he would always have like a towel wrapped around his genitals, which
Mhm.
to me kind of is that shame, is that, oh,
Mm.
my son might be gay and I don't want him thinking about me sex. Like, what does that all mean?
Mhm.
Now, as far as the porn goes, my dad was a consumer of porn. He had a lot of
Mhm.
porn, and it used to bother my mother that it was
Mhm.
easily available to find, to the point where for a fifth grade show and tell,
Oh, I'm here for this story.
for a fifth grade show and tell, people were bringing in their toys and fun shit. Maybe earlier than fifth grade, because I think I might have been, that's a little later, maybe the third grade or something. I took a catalog for my, because back then you used to look through a catalog to pick which porns you
Yeah.
want. So they'll have like a
Mhm.
little screenshot. So I took that to school. I went to the front of the classroom, was like, I want to show all of you my dad's porn. I take out this thing of videos of like big
Oh, the
black
teacher.
cocks and big white cocks. The teacher, oh my,
Probably
mortified,
shit.
mortified. They had to call my parents. I don't remember getting totally in trouble because I was kind of naive about what exactly I didn't know what
Oh
it
yeah.
was. I was just like, oh,
You
it's just
wouldn't have.
people doing stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and from that point on, my mother, I think she tried to tell my dad to throw it away, but I always would
Mhm.
find it. I would go sneak up into the attic and jerk off on this little couch that we had in this one room in the attic and hide it. And then once the internet came around, oh my God, wait, 2 more stories. One, I would print a lot of pictures and at school before parental controls were created, my teacher caught me looking at porn. In hindsight, I think he was gay and might have been like, oh, look at this little young black kid, you know, he's finding some dicks to look at. Oh, look at him. But I was mortified, let me tell you, mortified.
To be fair, like I learned how to give a blowjob from watching porn.
Same here.
So I watched a lot of different styles and a lot of different just all kinds. I just consumed a lot, anything that had blowjobs in it, and I just wanted to see. And then I tried it out.
Understand it, because guess what? Nobody taught us how to do that.
No, and that's such a shame in American culture where sex is so shamed, so pushed down that, honestly, I don't know how many people you have sex with, but have you noticed since the creation of porn, men seem to mimic the horrible parts of porn to the point where they have like these weird things that they have to do to get off just to come. And you're just like, how long is this gonna take? And you know what's happening, but you're just like,
this is just seems like an act here. But that also tells me that they're not connected to the sexual play
at all.
Because we absolutely don't need to just masturbate on top of each other or behind each other or any of those things and just have to picture the porn that we're watching. We can actually learn how to have an erotic conversation with each other. We can learn how to have erotic touching and what each person might like, or explore the things that each person might like. That's the best part about having these conversations early. Is that like, oh, I don't really know if I like that. I've never done that before, but I'm curious, and maybe can we watch a video from somebody that's not going to come on my face while I watch it, and so I could learn something? You just understand it.
You just said it. Erotic conversation.
Come on my face first.
Well, I'm wondering though, like if we could get people to maybe start with having erotic conversations.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how that would, for one, change your sex life? Hello.
Yeah.
The comfort level that you would have with that person would be mind blowing. And then when you do have sex, it'd probably be amazing. But like, why not? Why not start with that before just jumping right into sticking your dick in her?
Take some cues from the gay and queer community. There's nothing wrong with sexual fluidity, not meaning have sex with all kinds of people, but just being open about it. Like for most gay men, I'm just speaking for gay men. One of the first conversations you have is, are you a top, are you a bottom, or are you versatile? Right there, you like filter out whether you're compatible or not. Are we going to be friends? Or are you going to fuck me? I don't know. So I think maybe you're
having a huge conversation right out the gate.
Right out the gate. Are you clean or not? Do you have STDs? Do you have the HIV? I need to know all this before I gobble up your cum. Like, have these conversations as early as possible. And I think straight people can have the best sex lives ever without all the repression, without all the rapiness, without all the weird kinks. We need to be able to connect again.
Yes.
So okay, well, let's talk about that. Why are heterosexual couples so afraid to have a simple conversation? I mean, I have my theories behind it. Yeah, but like
Puritan culture that came over when we tried to take this country from the native people.
Yeah. I love the way you say it with such a straight face.
I mean, it's the repression is long standing, and it's only it was doubled down culturally for especially so those of us who are Z, it's getting a little better for Z, but like elder millennials and Gen X, we were raised by people who really very much participated in purity culture, and purity culture came from very like the evangelical Christian churches which then absolutely lobbied to make its way into public school education. That is why abstinence only education started, and it happened that way because we've had lots of information to show that does not work at all, period. Done. No more. And somebody wants to argue with me. No, I will show you at minimum 50 different scholarly white papers that show that STDs go up, that pregnancy goes up, substance abuse goes up, all of it goes up when you don't use a harm reduction model for any of it.
Let me ask you one more question about that. Do you think that women nowadays have a fear of bringing up the conversation around sex with someone too soon because he might become aroused by the conversation and might try to sexually assault her?
Yes. Whoa, the answer is fully yes.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go there, but that's.
I actually saw a TikTok, and I appreciate TikTok for a lot of reasons, but I saw someone on TikTok put it this way, and I thought this analogy was actually a really good one. Because for so many of us women, we have been sexually assaulted. We've had our sexual boundaries crossed. I haven't been to a concert. Well, I mean, let's say pre-COVID. I haven't been to a concert where my ass didn't get grabbed or I didn't get groped. And I can tell you that a majority of the women who have been to those kinds of concerts as well have a very similar experience. So we don't, the analogy that I think is a good one. I wish I remember the guy's name who put it, who gave this analogy. So if any of you, I don't know if any of you, I grew up rurally, so I'm very familiar with guns. I don't have guns anymore, but I'm very familiar with guns. But when you get gun safety training, are either one of you familiar with gun safety training?
Yeah,
I am.
What do they tell you immediately about the gun? To expect
that you can kill someone,
but to expect that it's loaded, and to always treat it that it is loaded.
Yes.
So there is not a woman who can tell from somebody's face that they're not going to be the assailant,
right?
That they're not going to hurt her. So there's no way from telling by your face that you're not going to be the one that's going to assault her.
It's so interesting that you say that. So I went with a straight friend to a Las Vegas nightclub recently. I'm used to gay clubs, where I guess it's a safe space for females. Now I see why it is a safe space for females.
Hell yeah.
So I'm in this club. I think, I'm in this club called, I think it's Omnia, some shit like that, the Caesars Palace or whatever. It's so much fun. The music is blasting. There's carbon dioxide being blown from the ceiling. It's just a wonderful time.
Damn.
But
I want to go. Can we do like a live from there? That feels like
it is. Really, if you're ever in Vegas, Club Omnia it's like the Disney World of nightclubs. That being said, I'm watching straight girls, dancing, having a good time with their girlfriends, and then some weird guy just walks up behind her and starts hump dancing on her. At first she's like, okay, maybe this is a handsome guy, and then she turns around and it's an ogre, and then she's freaked out and then she runs away. The fact that he just walks up behind her,
no permission.
What are guys telling each other? Yo, if you want to meet a chick, if you want to dance, just walk up behind her and just start gyrating on her ass. Either you're going to get some or you're not. Like, what information are they sharing that I'm seeing so many girls just like guys just walking up on them and dancing? I'm watching guys having arguments with other men because some dude just walked up on his girlfriend and just started touching her. Like, what the fuck? Now I see why gay clubs are full of straight women. No offense, ladies, but now I see why.
Oh, 100%.
Well, not a straight woman, but yes, it truly is. We know that there is not someone who is more than likely not going to at minimum ask our permission. Because even if some sexy ass lesbian comes up to me, even though I'm married, she's gonna ask my permission. She's not gonna come up on me without asking first.
Right.
And
I will say gay men are different. They will just grab you. I've been at places where men will just
but it's also I don't know. I think there's already.
So
oh, there's Kanan. Lost Kanan.
We lost Kanan for a hot second.
The streaming.
Ooh.
The streaming.
But that's a really good point that you bring up, Kanan, because I do remember going to clubs, and it's been a while. Obviously, we've been in a pandemic, so I haven't been in a club in a while. And where I live, the clubs are chock full of children out of Cal Poly. But
the youths.
They're a little too young. They're like barely 22 or 21 or whatever. But
Babies.
the point, yeah, like I do remember going to clubs, and that was a common thing. They would just walk up onto you and quote unquote dance with you. And if you even politely push them away to be like, please don't do that. They're like, what? We're in a club. Everybody's dancing. This is what you're here to do. And it's like, I am here to dance, but I'm also not here to have you sticking your tiny ass little dick in my butt 20 times.
Men have the audacity. That's something that obviously has been conditioned into men and boys. Just have the audacity. Just go after it. Because if you really think about it, think about all the books, like even the last president. He would just tell men, just go out there and grab that pussy. So obviously, this is a conditioning that is so deep that we are like prophets right now trying to undo all of this terrible, terrible conditioning that is happening. I just want people to have healthy relationships and not be with people who expect you to just lay on the floor and just wait for them to come on your face.
Yeah, and guess what? And I will say this until I can't say it anymore. Like what the former Gremlin president said is not about sex.
Oh no, that's about power.
Sexual assault is about power and control.
Yeah.
It is a power struggle. It is not about sex. If it was about sex and intimacy, it would be completely different.
There you go.
Would you say that sex is between two consenting
adults?
My God.
Consulting is more active. It's more active. You consult with one another. You make some agreements. You have some negotiations.
I know. Oh my God.
I would like to consult with you about sex. What are your thoughts on it?
What are your thoughts? Can you bring your business people to my business people? Everybody's got an
I will
LLC.
have
we can have a
my
negotiation.
people reach out. Yes.
Oh my God. I want a sex consultant.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be like a mediator. Like a mediate, like if you're on a first date, like you call someone and have like a third party where you start talking about these sexual things. So it's not awkward where it's like, oh, is he gonna like try to like, fondle me now? But there's a person there like they're heavy breathing, like tell me more. So it's just like, maybe there should be some kind of thing that helps more people talk about sex. And I hope that this season is going to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go.
Erica can help you with it.
Well,
your website.
I think it would be really cool. I think it'd be really cool if all of us did. I think it would be really cool if we all did like a live course or something together. I think it would be really interesting.
That would be really
to have
interesting.
people ask live questions and get very direct things that you can do. And I think that that's what I would love for people to know is that you can say, hey, I'm looking for a partner that can, even if you're uncomfortable talking about sex, but be game to talk about sex, because it's been something that I've had a hard time talking about, and I really want a partner who's game to kind of try to figure that out with me.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's part of the reason I switched to coaching men was because I realized that I really wanted to help men understand women better. And a big part of the process that they go through with me in my program is understanding how to communicate with women. And so I teach them about respect and consent, not consulting, consent. And they immediately see the difference in how women respond. And they're just like, oh my God, I never thought in a million years that I could have such a successful dating life with just changing my language and saying things that I might be thinking instead of just keeping them in. And it's
like men are thinking, oh my God, I can't believe it. If I just treated her like a human being, I might get
or
a
that
second
she
date.
might like sex as much as I do.
Or
That
maybe
too.
even more.
Or even, yeah. I have some straight friends that get floored with when they see girls that are sexual. Like, yo, I didn't know she was like that. I say, bruh, girls are as freaky as you are. Like, I don't
That's
know
right.
what idea you think that only dudes are like.
And your libido isn't a static thing. It's not something
Yeah.
that
Right.
stays the same.
Yeah.
I do think that is a cultural misnomer that
Mhm.
you have either high desire or low desire, and that's something that stays the same forever. It absolutely doesn't. We are a whole human being that has a body that changes over time,
Mhm.
and your hormones change from the time of puberty all the way to the end of your life. It doesn't stop with puberty.
Right.
But that's where we stop education if people get it.
Yeah.
Right.
If.
Yeah, for sure. Not everyone was lucky enough to have a mom like mine.
No.
Oh my God. Well, with that said, Erica, this has been another enlightening conversation with you. I love that you're willing to keep coming on as a guest, and we're going to keep having you.
Yeah, as long as you keep coming, we'll keep having you. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be the resident sex doctor. And
I love it.
The
resident sex doctor.
The people, like all you people out there, have your conversations about sex before you were intending to have the sex of any kind. I'm not talking about penetration. I'm talking about touching of any kind. Have those conversations. It's okay to have them. And if you're terrified of them, please come see someone like me so that you can understand how did you get to the place where you were so concerned about sex or having that conversation, because a lot of times it does have roots in family history. And then I'll send you to Andrea so Andrea can get your dating life in order.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's steps to success.
That's right.
We will definitely make sure that we put a link in the show notes so everyone can have access to you and reach out if they're interested in services from her. She does have a team of therapists as well, and they do see both men and women, where I more focus on men. I do still coach women, but I've shifted. She has not. She can do therapy with anyone.
Yes.
All genders.
I personally love the Alphabet Mafia, my fellow queer folk. And I have therapists. We will have a team of 12.
Wow.
And
expanding.
soon we're going
success.
to have someone can help with medication too. So we will be able to help. It's mentalandsexualhealth.com. My show is Sex Talk with Erica Miley. So if you want to hear even further sex nerdery, feel free. And I just find the both of you to be such a blessing. Kaden and Andrea, Andrea, I love you both.
Thank
I think you're
you.
both
We love you
fantastic.
too.
Yes, I love you. Also, follow her on social media, especially her TikTok.
My TikTok.
I can love your TikTok.
People freaking DM me all the time with a video they want me to react to. I don't know why. People want to watch the sex therapist react to.
I mean, your reactions are priceless, so I can see why.
I don't hide
Yeah.
anything. I've never had a poker face.
Same.
I know there are therapists who have wonderful poker face. Not the one.
Oh my God. So exciting. Well, again, thank you for being part of our show, and thank you for closing our season on sex with us. For our listeners, just a little kind of rundown of how we are going to work now. Kanan and I are going to launch our 1-year anniversary show, and then we are going to take a little mini break and come back with season 3. And season 3 will be Dating Unfiltered. All the things dating. And so our guests are going to be people who have had success with dating and some of their secrets. And our other guests are going to be those who are struggling. And we might even do some live one-to-one coaching on the show.
So cool.
That's going to be
so
nice.
Cool.
Yes.
Ooh, I'll come on
But
if you want to have somebody for me to gang up on.
Yeah, of course. You're our resident sex therapist, so you're like at the top of the queue list now as far as guests go. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Also, to our listeners, Kanan is such an amazing podcast producer that he got us up on Amazon. So now you can find us on Amazon. And are we on iHeartRadio now too?
I think we are on iHeartRadio now, actually. So. I will double check later, but we should be on iHeartRadio as well.
So thank you to Kanan for being an amazing co-host, but also an amazing show producer and just taking care of literally all of the things that I can never even imagine. So you're awesome. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
A fantastic season talking about sex. I'm so thankful to all of our listeners.
Yes, we are on iHeartRadio now, you guys. Woo! It is official.
Love it. Please keep sending us your feedback. Anything that you want us, we're going to continue to always do the questions episodes, and the questions episodes can be about anything. So please keep sending us your questions, your thoughts, your concerns.
Yes. If you're on Instagram, just go to our highlights, our page, our profile, the little highlights bubble say, ask a question. You could click it right there. At some point, we'll have an easier way for you to just get to it. But as of right now, you could just go to our Instagram page via your mobile phone because you cannot get there on a website.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And with that said, please subscribe to our show, follow, and feel free to leave us comments and feedback. And until next season, keep dating smarter.